Today's video is about something that happened to me very recently, and I really want your take on it. A really good friend of mine that hasn't seen me in a while saw one of my videos on YouTube, and she wrote to me. First of all, I love her. She sent me an email and she said, "You look really thin in your latest videos, and I'm really worried. Are you okay?" And my stomach kind of contracted when I read that. I felt pretty bad. What can I do with that information? If I really am that thin and I don't look good, there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. I was born thin. My friend has known me for years. In fact, she's even thinner than I am. And I found myself explaining to her, well, you know, it could be the light, the way the lights, I'm not a professional light person, so it could be the way the light is hitting my face. It could be that I've lost a pound or two in the past month because I've had some health problems, and while we were looking for answers, I might have dropped a couple pounds. Thankfully, things seem to be okay. But if I did, and again, what do I do with that information? Then afterwards, I started thinking, well, why do I even have to explain myself? I posted about this on Instagram, and some of my Instagram friends said, well, if she's a really good friend, you should, take it and deal with that comment. It's out of concern. And of course I know it's out of concern. I completely understand that. But when you have grown up in a country, Spain mostly, after I was 5 years old, my mother's from the United States, my dad's from Spain, and after the 5 years old, I grew up there, and people in Spain are very open and blunt about criticizing other people. It's rare that they will, not rare, but it's not common that they will open up the conversation with a compliment. It is usually something to the effect of, "Oh, those bags under your eyes, are you okay? You look ruined." There is such an expression in Spanish, "estás estropeada." It's like ruined, not okay. Also, desmejorada, unimproved, run down, actually. That's what it means, run down. Would you tell someone that he or she looks run down? Well, I understand if it's out of concern, but what does one do with that information? I had a severe eating disorder when I was really young, and that motivated me to write my first book about that eating disorder. So even though I thought I had it down really well and that I had overcome body issues, body image issues, etc., maybe not, because that email triggered all kinds of thoughts and insecurities in my head. I was like, wow, so if she's saying I look too thin and she's worried, that certainly doesn't mean that I look healthy, right? But again, if you are naturally thin and if you've gone through some health stuff recently, like, what do? You eat a sandwich? That's not going to make a difference from one day to the other. And I take care of myself. I sleep a lot of hours. I practice yoga. I eat well. And again, there's nothing I can do about being thin. It's just the way I was born. My family is all thin. My question, I guess, that I would love feedback on is, what is your take on this? Forget about what I thought or what I felt, or, which I did, and then I overcame it. It made me think that I really don't have to explain myself to anybody for the way I look, ever. I shouldn't, right? Even if it's out of concern, there are different ways of voicing it. I sometimes consider how I would word that to somebody else, and I really don't see myself telling somebody, well, you look really bad today. Are you okay? I'm super worried about you. There are possibly better ways to say it, and I'm not sure that I have the answer of how to say it in a positive manner. There's a lot of voicing love your curves, and I think it is wonderful because as an eating disorder survivor, I feel that it is very important to love your body no matter what size it is. But by the same token, I feel that people freely dispense commentary on people who are thin. you look like you could eat a sandwich. Everybody says, I wish I had that problem. I wish I were thin, I wish I could eat everything I wanted and I were like you, or I had the problem that I couldn't, gain weight or whatever. But they don't know. They don't know what it's like to wear a 32B borderline A and have felt most of my life that my breasts were too small, and then at a certain point I decided, you know what? They're small, they're gonna stay small. That was my choice because after a certain age I just didn't see myself getting a boob job. And then, when gravity starts doing its work, at least in my body, I didn't want that to be all taut and everything else falling to pieces. So I decided I wasn't going to get a boob job, and I won't. I respect people who do, but it's just not my choice. So the question again is, how does somebody who comments on my thinness know that it doesn't bother me or that I don't have a complex? Which right now I don't have one, but what if I did? What do you think? Do you like people commenting on you without having asked for it? Because like when my sister and I ask each other, well, do you like how my hair looks? We often don't see eye to that, but we're sisters and we've always, been really tight, and we also have different tastes and likes and dislikes, and we know it. And even when my sister or I ask her, do you like this dress or my hair or whatever, we could say, well, I like it. I wouldn't wear it. It's not my style, but it looks great on you. Or it's not my style, and that is that. If a friend came and she had already cut her hair, and I don't think I would say to her, oh, you made a horrible mistake. There is nothing wrong with looking for good things to say about somebody. What would you answer if somebody told you looked too thin and you really can't do anything about it, or you look like you could lose a few pounds and there's also nothing you can do about it, or maybe you don't want to do anything about it? I am the kind of person that doesn't have a quick comeback. Usually I am so shocked that somebody actually said that I don't have a comeback at that moment. But I wish I didn't have to. Please let me know what you think. I just think that we need more compliments. I will tell people, I love your dress, I love your eyes, you have beautiful hair, whether I know them or not. I would never stop somebody in the street to say, oh, how come you didn't do your roots? I'd love to know what you think. In the meantime, I am going to put a little plug for my book, Reach, From Single Mom on Welfare to Digital Entrepreneur, which has nothing to do with weight or looks or any of that. It's about how I lost everything in 2008, and now my family lives off of my business, Viva 50 Media. I always have a hard time asking people to like my channel, but if you like it, please subscribe.